Alright, so you want me to read? Steps to Christ. Alright, you can do that. God's love for men. Nature and revelation alike testify of God's love. Our Father in heaven is the source of life, of wisdom, and of joy. Look at the wonderful and beautiful things of nature. Think of their marvelous adaptation to the needs and happiness, not only of men, but of all living creatures. The sunshine and the rain that gladden and refresh the earth, the hills and seas and plains, all speak to us of the Creator's love. It is God who supplies the daily needs of all His creatures. In the beautiful words of the psalmist, the eyes of all wait upon Thee, and Thou givest them their meat in due season. Thou openest Thine hand, and satisfiest the desire of every living thing. God made men perfectly holy and happy, and the fair earth as it came from the Creator's hand bore no blight of decay or shadows of the curse. It is transgression of God's law, the law of love, that has brought woe and death. Yet, even amid the suffering that results from sin, God's love is revealed. It is written that God cursed the ground for man's sake. Genesis 3:17. The thorn and the thistle, the difficulties and trials that makes his life one of toil and care, were appointed for his good, as a part of the training needful in God's plan for his uplifting from the ruin and degradation that sin has wrought. The world, though fallen, is not all sorrow and misery, and nature itself are messages of hope and comfort. There are flowers upon the thistles, and the thorns are covered with roses. God is love is written upon every opening bud, upon every spire of springing grass. The lovely birds making the air vocal with their happy songs, the delicately tinted flowers in their perfection perfuming the air, the lofty trees of the forest with their rich foliage of living green, all testify to the tender, fatherly care of our God and to His desire to make His children happy. Right off the bat, when I was reading, thinking about the marvelous adaptation to the needs of happiness, not only of men, but of all living creatures, I remembered God. And I remember when I was young, there was one time I got this sudden urge to be happy to be alive. And I was looking at the mountains and I was looking at the sun, and I was looking at the air, not looking, but basically thinking about the air that I was breathing. And it just dawned on me just how wonderful God is. I felt like this overwhelming urge to say, thank you. And I kept thinking also about oblivion for some reason. Trying to think what is nothing? What would have happened if I didn't exist? And all I could see was black, but then even the black I couldn't see, so I don't know. I felt scared, so I was really happy. And when I look at the sun, about how the sun is so far away, and yet the sun is just hot enough for us just to walk the earth and not be cold. It's just hot enough to ripen our fruits, our vegetables. In every single thing, there's an intention. God made everything so that we would be happy. The most wonderful thing that I have seen that I really like about this is God's love, and how infinite and strong this love is, that even when we are in a world that is full of sin, yet God loved us so much that somehow there's still beauty in this world, because he could have just abandoned us. Like, he doesn't need to stay there. He doesn't need to be here. He could have just let it slide and just abandoned us. He could have destroyed us, like right there and then. Who's gonna take him? Like, who's gonna hold him responsible? Like, if you create something and it doesn't work, or it's not working like the way that you intended to work, then what you do? Well, you break it down and you restart, and you make it another way so that it actually works. But instead of just discarding us and destroying us, he wants a relationship with us. Wow. I love God because of that. I love God because his love is greater than his wrath.